Thermopylae in Greek means the hot gates, and it's a pass in northern Greece. And what's unusual about it is it's only a few hundred yards and then abruptly cascades off into a cliff and in the sea. What that meant is throughout antiquity, a small number of soldiers could block that pass and force an invader from the north to either make an enormous detour of 200 or 300 or 400 miles, or they'd have to blast their way through a very narrow bottleneck.
If you imagine yourself on a Greek battlefield, then essentially you'd have two forces in the rectangular, shield and spear, each man covering a third of the one next to him. Picture a train wreck, because that's what the battle was like.
What was really, really important to them was to defend the man on their left with this shield, so that they moved together en masse. I mean, it was described by contemporary authors as being like some hideous monster that moved as one.
In the phalanx, everybody's visibly apparent to everybody else. You can see there's a man on your right, there's a man in front of you, there's a man behind you, you're pushing, you're sweating, you're grunting.
And actually, you can imagine that's an incredibly effective way to fight, because it's very, very, very difficult to penetrate and very, very difficult to break through that rank. So even though there were tiny numbers of Spartans, they managed to hold their own by sticking in this phalanx, by fighting as one rather than fighting as individuals.
It was hideous. They ripped each other to pieces. I believe that in fiction, in cartooning, and in cinema, there's a long and worthy history of stylized violence, where you get across the idea of it rather than the actual reality. There was no way to tell the story of 300 without it being amazingly brutal.